Today's episode of Running It Back is here. It's ready. It's a brand new interview. It's a brand new guest to the show as well. I want to remind you, if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, 2 chances coming up. I will be at Flappers Comedy Club the 24th of this month, January, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. And the following month, I will be in Venice Beach, California, February 17th. 2 fun shows. So come on out. Today on the show, we have comedian Nate Welch joins me in studio. We have a long conversation about his upbringing, his moving to LA, and a very Zen-like philosophy to life. Nate is a great guy. I really enjoyed the interview. I think you are going to as well. And I hope you're sitting down. A little football talk as well. Nate's a passionate man, so we get into it. This is Running It Back. This is my show. I am Patrick Ramirez, and this is comedian Nate Welch. Nate, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, bro. Appreciate you having
Nate Welch in the home studio.
me. Yeah, man, this is dope. You got a really good setup here. I like it.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. We were doing a little football chat
Yep.
before we started. You came in with the New Orleans Saints gear.
Who that?
Not crazy about the season, you were saying.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm not happy with mediocrity, but it is what it is. Fire Dennis Allen. Fire him. He's a piece of shit. He's our
2
coach.
years in, you want him gone.
I wanted him gone after last year. I didn't want him, period, but I'm not the fucking head of the team. But he's a great defensive mind. He's a great defensive coordinator. Terrible fucking head coach. He has no flavor. He's fucking bland. He's a fucking bitch.
You know what I can't figure out about the Saints, and I've been asking this for I think 5 years now, is I don't know what you do with Taysom Hill. It seems like he's good at a lot of things, and they still haven't figured out what exactly to do with him. He takes a few snaps. He runs the ball sometimes. He returns punts. I feel like he's underutilized, and at the same time, what the hell is this guy?
Well, 2 things. Number 1, fuck Dennis Allen. Also, fuck Pete Carmichael, who is our offensive coordinator, who will not. They better not keep neither of them. If they keep Dennis Allen, they better fucking not keep Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael was offensive coordinator under Sean Payton pretty much the whole time. Great, cool. Clearly, he was just Sean Payton's lackey, and he can't do it himself. He's an idiot. If the fans
he cannot fly solo.
If the fans, us, me and the fucking Saints fans, can call the play, like we see the lineup, we know what the play is.
Yeah.
You don't think the fucking professionals that's been studying you to play against you know what the fuck's coming to? Taysom is a savage. Taysom is awesome. Taysom is, they call him the Swiss Army knife because he is a Swiss Army knife.
Phenomenal athlete.
He plays quarterback. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can block. He can
Makes a
kicks.
tackle every now and again.
He's on the special teams. He returns kicks. He'll do everything. He's awesome. He's very much a one-of-a-kind player. I love him, and they just don't use him right.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's like
have they ever used him right?
Like when they put him in the back, when they put him back there at quarterback, he throws 10 passes all year, something like that.
Right.
It's like, bro, they know he's running. Let him throw a little bit more.
Yeah.
Let him have these options, and let him run. Let him run it down their fucking throat because he's huge and he's fast.
Yeah.
And he's a dog.
You know
But
that
they call him the Mormon missile.
Yeah, right. He's a Mormon too. Though there was a game maybe 6 weeks ago. Carr's kind of struggling. Taysom Hill's in there. He's kind of effective. Carr gets injured, and I go, oh, perfect. Now they can go Taysom Hill at quarterback. Let's see how this goes. And they put in Winston.
Jameis, I love Jameis to death, too.
I love Winston, too.
And my thing is, I thought I had my phone on silent.
Oh, you're all right.
But the damn...
No, Dennis Allen.
Taysom is...
Texting you.
Dennis Allen. Yeah,
It's like, I hear you're talking about
quit
me.
with the rage. Yeah, no. No, Taysom... So, last year, before we got Derek Carr, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's Taysom time. It's finally time for Taysom to be the quarterback. When Drew Brees left, they gave Taysom a chance, and everything else. I don't know if he really got the, is he going to be an every down the quarterback? He's Probably not. He can throw the fucking ball, but
Yeah.
he's more better utilized as the Swiss Army knife to do everything.
Yeah. I think if they repurposed him as like a Christian McCaffrey role, I almost think he could be more effective.
Yeah, no, if they did something like that, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of options they could do, but I don't know. I love Taysom to death. I don't want him to go anywhere. I want him to get used the way he should be used. Kind of. They do sometimes well, but most of the time it's just too damn bland. It's too vanilla. It's like, bro, we know he's going to let him run the damn quarterback powered right up the middle. Like, let him do some shit. Let him throw it. Let him roll out, throw some play action, whatever.
Yeah,
but
mix it up with a deep pass every 8th play or something.
And they do
sometimes,
throw occasionally, and it's like, damn it, and like, but like, we'll see. We got a lot of what we call variables involved, so we'll see.
Well, here's the off season, Nate, because I'm a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
So I am also in the off season. We had a tough season. It's all over. The season is so long now too. It's almost like when it ends, I'm like, okay, good. Now I can exhale. And I can just watch playoffs now without too much like on the line because I won't be all distraught when my team loses.
Yeah, I'm in that like distraught time myself just because like I love.
You sound like it.
I love football so much. I love
bummed.
the Saints so much, and like I love fantasy so much. And like last year I won my league, and this year I should have repeated as champion, and I lost in the championship because fuck Lamar Jackson.
Lamar ruined it for you.
Lamar went off and put up the best game of his damn life, 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins against me.
I like how you gave my camera the finger too.
Oh yeah,
take that, Lamar.
That's not for the camera. That's for Lamar. Fuck you, Lamar.
See, this is why I knew we would get along when we first met. Is we have irrational feelings about sports, and how I take it personally.
Yeah,
I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't, and I take it personally. Like, why are the Raiders doing this to me?
Yep.
Like, are you trying to make me depressed? Like, I stuck with you since I was 7 years old. Mm-hmm. Why are you having illegal procedure right now?
Yeah.
Is it because of something I did?
One funny thing is like I feel like I'm so much better at comedy in the spring and summer because I'm more focused on it and I'm not like consuming hours and hours and hours of football content. I still am, but not nearly as many hours. Like I'm still watching, reading shit and seeing what they're talking about for the draft or, then preseason, the, training camp and everything.
Yeah.
But
you ever like refresh the ESPN like at a show on your phone, just like checking like what's the score or what third quarter? All right, quick check.
During football season,
yeah.
During football season, they're like, all right, like I'm my friends are all in there doing stand up. I'm right there too, but I'm like, I'm watching the fucking game on silent or like. Checking the score,
right?
Whatever.
Right.
I'm bootlegging the game on the fucking on crack streams.
Yeah. With comics, it's a 50-50 shot if they're gonna know sports lingo.
Yeah,
a lot of comics have no idea about sports, and a lot of them are way into it.
Some people absolutely love sports. Some comics absolutely love sports. Some comics, they either know everything about football or they know every fucking Pokemon ever. Mm-hmm. Some of them both, but like, or neither. But like, that's a there's line levels to it. But
yeah, we need to decompress. We got a long off season. So, well, let's go way back, Nate.
Okay, where are we going?
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from a real small town called Buras, Louisiana. It's like an hour below New Orleans.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I knew you were from New Orleans. I didn't know where exactly.
I lived in New Orleans for 5 years before I moved here. So like, I can say that, but like, it's easier just to say I'm from New Orleans because nobody knows where the fuck Buras is anyway.
How big is Buras?
It was very tiny. Very few. Like what? 40 people in my class, like in school. So like,
oh really?
Yeah. So like your graduating class, like how many people are like would graduate with you? It'd be like 30.
Oh really?
Yeah. So like it's a very tiny population. Yeah, it's mainly for like fishing and offshore and shit.
Yeah.
Like oil field and fishing.
Yeah, I'm wondering that the small town of it all. Like, what's it like growing up?
Yeah, it's
in such a small town like that. Are you aware that New Orleans is this huge town by comparison, or did you have to learn that?
No, yeah, we knew that. Yeah, we called New Orleans town because like we're going to town because that's where you had to go. Because like down there we had like a couple Dollar Generals and gas station, like Dollar Generals and gas stations and shit. But no, like we were like an hour away from like civilization, basically.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
It's like, well, yeah, like if you want to call like, you know, mainstream, like chains and shit, like McDonald's an hour away, Walmart
Really?
an hour away. Those are like the ratchet things that people call them.
Right.
But like to us, that was like the exotic shit.
Really?
Yeah. So,
No, I grew up in a town kind of similar. It was bigger, but like stuff like when we got a Starbucks in our town,
yeah.
there was a line around the block.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, let's all get in line for Starbucks. Krispy Kreme came to my town,
Oh, y'all was bougie.
and we were like, oh my God, the newspaper did a story on it.
Yeah.
It's weird how we can kind of like trickle down like that. You're like, oh, what's the big city got? Starbucks. Oh wow, that's not for us. That's for the big city slickers.
Yeah, right before Katrina, they made a subway. It was a trailer, but they made the trailer into a subway, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is fucking awesome!"
Really?
Oh yeah, they just turned a double wide trailer into a subway. It was awesome, but then Katrina destroyed everything. So
Really?
Oh yeah. My hometown got destroyed in Katrina. So
Really?
yeah, so we moved. Like the whole town was tiny, but like it got destroyed in Katrina, and then we moved to a bigger small town. And my family
see.
still lives there now. It's called Thibodeau.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an hour away from New Orleans, another direction.
What's your family like? Do you have siblings?
Yeah. I have a little sister. She's 5 years younger than me, so she's 29. She has 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And my family all still lives down there in Thibodeau, so it's good.
Oh, really? What did your mom and dad do?
Stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah. No. My mom passed away, and my dad is a mechanic.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. My dad lives in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All my mom's side family is where I'm at.
I see. You're on the mom side.
Yeah.
What were you like as a kid?
I don't know. I was, I guess a little fat kid. I was also smart. People think I'm stupid, but I was smart.
You were smart, huh?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
smart kid?
Yeah, straight A's up until Katrina. And
To Katrina.
yeah, then I just quit trying. I still did good, but
What do you mean you quit trying because of Katrina? Because
well,
you guys had to move and it was difficult?
I grew up from the time I was a kid till I was, almost 16, and grew up with all the same people, all my friends.
Yeah.
Knew everybody in the town. And then I moved to another place where it was much bigger, where I lived across the street from the damn Walmart, as opposed to an hour away. And they had 300 people, in my whole high school, in my whole school growing up. This school I went to, they had 300 people in my fucking class. Mm-hmm. So it was, huge. And I didn't know any of them. So I was like, I don't want to know any of them.
Uh-huh.
At that point, I was young. I was, angry.
Yeah. Yeah, what age did you move?
Katrina happened when I was 15.
Yeah.
Right before I turned 16.
So that move was difficult.
Oh yeah, especially because
15.
it was like not a choice, and everything was destroyed. When we evacuated, I had 3 pairs of clothes and a PlayStation 2 because I thought I was just going out of town for the weekend.
I see.
Because that's how
I didn't think about that.
You get like conditioned like with hurricane evacuation. Like it happened plenty of times, and like some people pack up all their shit every time. Some people pack up all their shit every so often. Some people just, get conditioned to, okay, well, I'm not hauling all this shit. I'm not doing all this. It ain't going to be nothing.
Yeah.
And, Madden had just come out. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just taking my PlayStation, a couple pairs of clothes will be good.
Yeah. And that's not how it went.
Nope.
And you were angry, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Angry about moving, angry about the new school.
Yeah, angry, fucking sad, frustrated, confused, scared, all those things, all the bad things.
I didn't think about the trauma that might have occurred from something like that.
Yeah, I don't ever use that word, but yeah, I guess that.
Or just the impact that it might have had on someone at such at a pivotal age.
Yeah. And I went to one school and in my first day there, I got in a fight and beat somebody up. And then the principal, because he was fucking with me, trying to, talk shit to me. And I whooped his ass. And then the principal, we went to the principal, and the principal's like, you coming from New Orleans causing problems on your first day? I'm like, no. I was in the class listening to music with headphones like these on because it was on my CD player.
Right.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. What were you listening to?
What was I listening to? I don't even. I'm be honest, I can't even remember. Probably fucking Godsmack or Linkin Park or something like that.
Yeah.
And
maybe some Stained. How about that?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And this dude behind me, like this dude on side me was trying to talk to me, and he was trying to just, you know, be friendly. But I was having my headphones on. I was like, I don't give a shit. And the dude behind me took the headphone off. He goes, "You think you hard just because you from New Orleans?"
Oh, really?
And I turned back at him. I'm like, "Nah, it ain't even like that, dude. I just don't want to talk to nobody." And I turned back around. No big deal. He got up and he took my headphone off again. He's like, "Yeah, well, we don't take he's like, "We don't like that shit around here. You ain't gonna come up in here acting like that." I said, "Man, get the fuck out of here." And I fucking put it back on. He got up and punched me in the back of the head. So I got up.
Back of the head?
Yeah, like got up and like he was behind me. Like got up and just punched me in the back of the head. I got up, boy. I beat the fuck out of that boy. And like everybody in the class started getting up and like grabbing me. The teacher's hitting a little red button. I didn't even know what the fuck a red button was.
Oh, never heard of that.
Oh yeah, it's for like if you need like the like an emergency. So they come over there and they brought me to the principal, and principal's like, "Oh, you coming from New Orleans causing problems on your first day?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "I'm defending myself. The dude hit me." He's like, "Well, we're not going to tolerate that kind of behavior around here." I got up, I cut him off. I said, "Man, fuck you," and I left.
To the principal, you're just out on the first day.
Yeah, I said, "Man, if this house going to be, I got up. I said, "Man, fuck you," and I left. I walked right out the principal's office. I walked right out to school. That was my very first day there.
Yeah.
But my aunt had got an apartment right down the street from that school. That's where I was staying. So I walked to school that morning. So I just walked the fuck back to the apartment.
Yeah.
And called up my mom and my grandma and them. They were in Thibodeau. I called them and I was like, "Hey, I don't want to be here. I want y'all to come." And I went to Thibodeau and
Swim back.
Well, went there. It's a different place. I'd never been there really.
I see.
And started school there and got in a fight on my second day there. And
Second day.
yeah, but you know.
So you were an angry kid. You had a lot going on.
Well, but also people were testing me.
Yeah.
New kid from New Orleans, like from, you know, whatever they, and, you know, and I ain't here to start no shit with nobody, but I also ain't gonna take no shit neither.
Did it change at some point in those years? Were you able to make friends?
Yeah. So like that, like, and I'll tell you that. So like when I moved to the next school, like to Thibodeau, I went there the first day, and in PE class, this little skinny dude, I'll never forget, skinny dude with a big ass nose, wearing like bright orange Chucks, right? Like bright orange, like Converse. I was sitting on, everybody's playing basketball. I'm sitting on the bench over here on the side because I don't want to fucking play basketball. I can play, but I don't want to play basketball.
Yeah. Oh, I hated that first day of school PE.
I'm like, I don't want to play.
I don't want to play.
I just had everything taken. I don't want to play basketball with a bunch of assholes I don't know. That's my thought. So I'm chilling over here on the bench, and this dude's he's playing the game. He's like, "Oh, fucking piece of, like, jackass over there, piece of shit, whatever. Don't want to play." I was like, "I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna." I just got, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
"You're being cool."
I'm trying. I'm like, I was telling him, I was like, I'll talk to myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna. Gotta be better. And so I didn't do nothing. But we went into the locker room, and he said some shit. He said some more shit to me, and they're like trying to like fuck with me, and I grabbed him by his throat and pinned him up against the locker, and I said, "Leave me I said, "If you say another word to me, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you." And I let him go. That's all. I grabbed him by the throat, told him that, and let him go. And he started running his mouth, but I didn't do nothing. He didn't. There was nothing to do because he was clearly not trying to fight.
I see.
So the next day, same thing. I'm sitting on the bench. He's running his mouth. He said some shit. I don't remember what the fuck he said. He said, "Yeah, you fucking fat ass, blah, blah, blah," something like that. And I was chubby then, but I was also played football. I was also kind of like I am right now. I'm chunky, but I can fight. So he said some shit, and I got, bro, I lost I got up. I walked over there in the middle of the basketball court. He's dribbling the fucking ball on the court. I walked over there, and I knocked him the fuck out.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. In the middle of the game. I walked over there and just knocked him the fuck out in the middle of the game. Started beating his ass. The people grabbed me. And the coach comes over there and they're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And I was like, "I told him leave me alone yesterday." He didn't listen. So I told him if he did it again, I was going to beat his ass. And he did it again, so I beat his ass.
Yeah.
The coach is like, "Well, y'all shake hands and it's over. Or y'all go into the office." And I was like, I stuck my hand out, and he's like, "I ain't shaking your hand, bitch," and I stuck him again.
This guy's gotten multiple chances.
Every chance.
And
Nate
I
is
not gonna have
smoked him again, and the coach was like, "Yo," and the other coach came in, and he's like, hey. And he's like, "Man, y'all just go over there. Y'all go over there." And that other coach was cool as shit. He was very nice. He could tell I wasn't a bad kid. He could tell the dude was, and he knew that little dude was a bitch.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it was like the third, like nothing happened. I ain't getting no trouble or nothing. The next day, I'm sitting there, and this other, like we're sitting there, like in the bleachers, and this dude come up to me, goes, "Hey man, you beat the fuck out of Bryce yesterday." And I was like, I told him, he's like, man, he's a little asshole. Nobody like, he deserved that. And I was like, yep. I was like, yep. He's like, so anyway, you play Super Smash Brothers? And I was like,
you became friends.
Yeah. And now, like, that dude is, like, still one of my best friends to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
His son's actually my godchild.
Is that right? Wow.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah, that was like your path to friendship in a weird.
Yeah. And then, way. And then I lived there and met people and became friends with a bunch of people. And
yeah.
I just went home for the holidays, actually, to down there. And we did, I don't know if you know Bear Battle.
I know Bear.
Bear's from Thibodeau, and I didn't know him down there, but he and I did a show last year in New Orleans together, and then this year he was like, "Hey, they got a spot in Thibodeau we can do a show there." I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, let's do that." So actually, a lot of my friends from Thibodeau were able to come see me do stand up for the first time.
Oh, cool!
So it was really cool.
That's always a good feeling. Like, you come back to do the hometown show, you get a good boost out of that. It's really, really good.
It was great, man. They, we each did 30 minutes. Then we both had great fucking sets. Everybody had a good time. It was good to see everybody. Cause like if you go home, you said, where are you from?
Texas. El Paso, Texas.
So like, like if you go home, like you can see some people that like, you want to see everybody, but you ain't got time to see everybody unless everybody's in one place. And that was a good like thing to have so many of my friends that I would love to see actually show up and be there,
and you get to do your thing,
and I get to do the thing, and also bullshit with them all after and hang out and drink and whatever. So it was fun. That's
a violent childhood. Kind of, you had a lot going on. You were going to defend yourself. You didn't want to be messed with. Like it seems tough, but it seems like that was a path you were on to, like, that's how you made a good, like, a close longtime friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like,
it didn't seem like you were looking for trouble, though. It seems like you wanted to keep to yourself.
Yeah, there's people that go out there looking for trouble and blah blah blah, but like I wasn't that. Like I'm very much a very chill person, but I'm also, don't fuck with me.
You have that don't fuck with me.
I'm not here to hurt nobody. I ain't here to start no shit with nobody, never.
Right. Because every time, like, I've been at shows with you, like, you say hello to everybody. Like, you do a little bit more than, like, you go out of your way to say hello to everybody. Not everybody does that. So you are, like, very kind like that. But yes, you have that demeanor of, like, all right, Nate's cool. Don't fuck with Nate.
Yeah,
Nate's cool.
I'm happy to be your friend. And look, there's there's plenty of people that can whip my ass, but none of them have ever done it. So
yeah,
I'm just, I'm here to, have a good time. I'm not here to do that, especially because I'm not fucking 16 or 22 or
young.
24 anymore. Like I'm grown now.
Yeah. Your high school, you were like Charles Bronson in Death Wish in your high school. Like, hey, I don't want no trouble, but if you bring trouble to my doorstep, I'm gonna have to react.
Yeah, I never saw that, but yeah, sounds like that. Yeah,
you never saw Death Wish? Mm-mm. Oh, you got to see Death Wish.
All right,
Charles Bronson is a vigilante. They fuck with his family. The police do nothing, and he has to take justice into his own hands,
like the Punisher.
Yes,
fuck yeah.
He goes out and he says, I think he says 8 words in the whole movie.
Really?
That's all he says. And he's a little diminutive man. You got to see Death Wish. He just goes.
Told you, you stupid son of a bitch.
Damn it.
Something.
Where does something? I might have been wrong. It might have been 7 words. Where does, like, as a kid, where does the comedy enter? Were you always into funny movies? Were you the funny kid? I mean, you mentioned sports. You were always into sports growing up?
Yeah, I've been a Saints fan since I was a kid. But yeah, like I've loved football. I like other sports too, but like I love football.
Football was your sport.
Football's the thing. I love football. I like wrestling too, and I like UFC and shit.
Oh yeah,
but as a kid, it was football and wrestling.
Football was like your number one thing, like you obsessed over, because that's what it was for me.
Yeah, football and wrestling were like the 2 things that like I love like watching, because wrestling's
I learned geography because of football. I was like, where is Cleveland on a map? And then you're like, oh, that's what the Browns play. Where's Tampa Bay? Oh, that's how and colleges too, because I'm like, where's Purdue? That's not a city name. And then my dad would be like, oh, this is where it is. Like, where's Notre Dame? Oh, it's up here. Like, sports was like a big reference for me. Because
you and me both. That's how I remember a lot of shit. about
Yeah.
stuff like that, like geography is a
Football
great,
cards, another one. I would just memorize football cards.
Yeah, I can't tell you some of the simplest fucking answers to questions, but
too.
I can tell you how, like Drew Brees, like they've had 10 people, like they've had 10 seasons where somebody's thrown 5,000 yards and Drew Brees is 5 of them, or what, something like that. Now,
Right.
I remember the stat used to be this, but I think it's changed now.
Right.
But like at one point it was like eight times it happened and Brees was 5 of them. Or
Yeah.
some shit. And I was like, go.
Yeah, like as a kid, like there you find something you obsess over and you just like study it over and over again.
Yeah,
and then you
something
find
you
that
enjoy.
friend that also has the interest and you just you talk about it nonstop. For some kids it's like music or movies. For me it was football.
Yeah.
And it was something to just talk about all the time. And even like for boys, it's probably like your dad, it's something to share with your dad.
Yeah.
So you'll watch the game and stuff like that. And I couldn't get enough of it. As
Yeah.
a kid, I'm like, why do they
Same.
wear these jerseys on these days? And then like you just learn everything about it. And football is a very difficult one to learn if you didn't grow up with it because there's so many rules in football. But if like someone
explaining, like when you get a new old lady and you gotta, like you're watching the game and you gotta explain to her, she's like, well, why are they doing this? I'm like, God damn it. All right. Well, baby, this is what they do here. And it's like, okay, I get it. But why are they doing this now? I'm like,
Right.
well, baby, because this is fourth down. Like if they don't get it, they don't get it. And then they get the ball right there. Like,
and then you're getting frustrated. Like, no, they can't throw it deep every play.
baby, I get it. Yeah, I'm trying to explain it to you, but I'm also trying to watch the fucking game. I'm not trying to give a fuck. But yeah, so
Very difficult.
it is,
Women don't know what their man has to go through
Yeah.
while watching football sometimes.
Well, you asked earlier about where comedy, like about the comedy. Like, yeah, comedy comes from pain. So,
Is that where it comes from for you?
Well, for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think
I think there's like a balance of it. But also, yeah, I loved like funny movies growing up. Like that was always like a thing. Like like you know, The Waterboy is my favorite movie because that's basically where I'm from. Like,
Yeah.
it's like to give people reference. Like
I see.
like where Bobby Boucher, like in that fucking in the swamp, and that's pretty much where my people's from. And but like that, like all those old Adam Sandler, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore,
Yes.
Tommy Boy, fucking
Right,
all
right.
those kind of
That
movies.
era, like the Adam Sandler, Chris Farley,
Mid to
Jim
late-
Carrey would be
mid-
another one
mid
thrown
to
in
late
there.
90s, early 2000s, all that. Yeah,
that was
like-
about my era too, where it's
Yeah.
like, like Happy Gilmore came out, you go see it, and then someone goes, "You ever see Billy Madison?" No, let's go rent it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I've never heard of. Let's watch this. Like, you ever seen Tommy Boy? Let's go watch it right now. And you just your whole afternoon is filled.
And South Park, you know, like
South Park was big, yeah.
Always,
and you
so-
just repeat the lines all day the next day at school to each other.
Yep. So
that
it was,
that was the comedy you liked.
yeah, that was stuff I liked growing up, and I never was like me and my friends always wanted to like make like movies or stuff like that. Like we were like, look, we got I got a camera, like a video camera, like with a little tape recorder, like
Yeah.
the little like handheld one in like 4th grade. And
Yeah.
and like we'd make like little like jackass too, and like we'd make like little jackass videos when we were kids and stuff, and that was kind of like a thing that we wanted to. Me and a couple of my other friends always kind of wanted to do. And
Yeah.
it just kind of built from there.
So you had that interest in like comedy and entertainment and making your own stuff.
Yeah, so
Early on.
making people laugh.
Yeah. Did you have stand-up comedians you liked at the time? Had you discovered stand-up specifically?
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, these things are tight. I remember the first time I remember the first special like comedy really I ever watched was Andrew Dice Clay. I fucking love Dice.
Dice
But
Man.
like my cousins, my uncle and my cousins used to watch like the Dice Man Cometh, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And he's like hickory dickory dock, like all the poems and shit.
yeah.
So fucking funny. And then also like my friend's dad used to always watch the blue collar comedy. And I used to love that shit, like Ron White and them. Ron White was funny as fuck, still is funny
Yeah.
as fuck. But those kind of things when I was like, and then also like, you know, all the classic ones that everybody always talk about, the Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff back then in like the 90s. That's
Yeah.
when I grew
It
up.
was a big boom for comedy. Like
Yeah.
you could turn on Comedy Central
Yeah.
and I would just like leave it on in my dorm room. I'm like, something funny is going to come on here. And then Comedy Central had this thing where they would do like little 7 minutes of stand-ups. I think it was called Premium Blend or something, or Comedy Mix. And you'd have Jim Brewer would be on for 7 minutes, and then Dane Cook, and then Mitch Fatel, and then Mitch Hedberg. And I would just kind of leave it on a loop. And then that's how I found like my favorite comics, you know?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, okay, the 7 minutes of this, it'll switch up to something else. And you just kind of found it. But I never knew of live stand-up. Like, I never went to a live stand-up show till later.
No, I didn't
This is
either.
on TV.
I never went to live stand-up until, like, right before I moved out here. Like probably a year before I moved out here. Joe Rogan went to New Orleans. And me and a couple of my friends went. Me and, like, two of my friends went to see Joe Rogan. And I saw Tony Hinchcliffe open for him. And he had did a wrestling joke. And I remembered Tony because of that. And I was like, I saw it. Like, when I came out here, like, I saw him at the Comedy Store. I was like, I know that motherfucker. I was like, that was the dude with the wrestling joke.
Yeah.
And I went and told him that, not knowing anything. It was like one of my first times, like, being at the comedy. Yeah. But it was funny. But I saw like Tony and somebody else and Joe Rogan, and it was dope. But then I moved, like, then I became, like, I got really, like, into it right before I moved out here, like a year or so before I moved out here.
Yeah.
And like watched it a lot, listened to it a lot, and because a couple of my friends came out here for like a vacation, and they went saw a show at the Comedy Store, and they went saw Joe Rogan at the Comedy Store, but it was like a Comedy Store show, so they had everybody on there, and they hit me up and they were like, "Dude, it was fucking awesome. They're like, the show was awesome. Like, but the funniest dude was the dude from Louisiana. You gotta check him out. It was Theo Von."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, fuck yeah. So I started watching his shit like years ago, and I was like, oh, dope. Like, this dude's hilarious. He's my favorite. And yeah, it was just, you know, so I really got into it, and like him and Joey Diaz and all those guys. Like, I watched like a bunch of that shit and moved out here. And when I moved out here, I wanted to, you know, try to make shit happen with acting and writing and doing, making, you know, doing that. And,
I see.
And then I was like, I tried like one mic back in New Orleans, but I don't even count it really. I was just kind of like, let me see. But it was bullshit. The scene there is way different. But then when I moved here, I worked on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the movie.
Oh, yeah?
I did security for it, and I did that for like my first few months out here. And then I remember I had a night off of work, and it was Theo and Joey Diaz and a couple other people like on that lineup at the store, and I bought a ticket and I went and saw it, and it was fucking awesome. And I was like,
Oh, what a killer lineup!
yeah, dude, it was dope.
Uppercuts,
Yeah,
all night long.
yeah, it was awesome.
Right,
and those two are probably like two of my favorites, if not my two favorites.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I gotta go. And I went and saw that, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then that was in like November, and then New Year's. Like the night before New Year's Eve, I went again, and I saw Theo and Bill Burr on the same show in the main room. And I was like, that's fucking dope. I was outside smoking a cigarette, and saw a bunch of comics putting their names in the bucket for like the upstairs open mic. And I was like, And some dude come up and put the little thing, his name in the bucket. And he come over to me. I was smoking a cigarette. He goes, hey, man, you got a lighter? I was like, yeah. I gave him a lighter. And he's like, thanks, dude. I was like, no problem. I said, hey, what's up with that bucket? He's like, oh, if you buy a drink, you put your name on the receipt, put it in the bucket, and they'll put your name on the open mic. And I was like, so I can do stand up here? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I was like, I just saw my two favorite comics do stand up in here.
Yeah.
An hour, like just now. I'm like, okay. And I kind of had that like, fuck it. You know, so I had bought drinks already. Anyway, I bought me another drink, wrote my name on the back, threw it in there, and I went upstairs, and they were like calling names and shit. Like a little while later, I went up there, and they were calling names, and they said, "All right, blah blah blah. You know, you're on deck. Next, after that, Nate Welch." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm about to go up. I'm about to do something." I'm like, "What am I gonna say?" I'm like, I told you I did one mic.
Yeah,
back
you
home.
hadn't done stand up really.
I had
to this point.
bullshit.
You've already moved here to LA. You're in the mix. You're going to the Comedy Store. You're already working, and you're like, I'm putting my name in this bucket to do stand up
just to see,
because I want just to see. And then you hear your name is coming up.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? I'm like, do I tell these little bullshit ass jokes that I tried writing, or do I just tell them about that time I met someone called Steve Austin, who was like my childhood hero? And then they were like, yeah, blah, 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 you're next. Nate Welch on deck. Blah, 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 blah. All right, I guess he's not here. All right, coming to the stage, Nate Welch. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I go up there, and I just told a story about the time I met Stone Cold Steve Austin. I actually got a laugh or two in the story, but then, which I wasn't expecting really. But then with the end of the story, it popped the whole fucking room. And I was like, dope. I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Like the whole room popped. I was like, maybe not much noise throughout the whole time, but damn it, they popped at the end. And I was like, all right, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then I started, I moved in with my roommate, Dan Veer. I don't know if you know him. He does impressions. He's really funny. But I moved in with him, and he was already running a comedy show in his backyard. And I was like, he's running a monthly backyard show. And I was like, I had only tried the comedy that time and one more mic after that. And I was like, this is the time. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I jumped in it and started going to mics with him and our other friend, Brandon. We would go to mics, a couple times a week and write shit out. And
went into the mix right away. I didn't know you moved here before doing stand-up, really. Like, what was the motivation to move here then? You wanted to be in the entertainment world?
At the time, I was 28. I was single. I didn't have no kids. I was like, I was a bouncer. I worked on the TV shows and the movies during the day. I did security for that, and I worked at
here in LA or before?
No, in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, okay.
So in New Orleans, I worked because they have big film and TV stuff down there. So like I worked security for the TV shows and films during the day, and I work at the nightclub at night. I was like the head of security at a club out there. So I would do that, and I was like, I wrote a pilot. Me and my best friend from back home, we wrote a pilot, and entered it into a contest, and we won like second place, won a national contest.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, fuck,
really?
All right, bet.
Wrote a pilot.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, bet. Our pilot won a contest. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then we did a short film festival out there in New Orleans, like the 48-hour film festival. You know that shit where like you get all the shit and you write, film, edit, turn in 48 hours. Me, him, and a group of our friends did that, and we won like 4 awards with this fucking film festival for this dumbass film that we made.
Really?
But it was funny.
What was the name of that film?
It's called Corkscrewed.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is that somewhere? Can we watch it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Corkscrewed.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll watch it. Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, we did it all in 48 hours, but it was good. And we won 4 awards with that. And I was like, I was like, I wrote a pilot. We won the contest.
Yeah. Where do I go from here?
I'm like, we did this. We did that. I'm like, I can do this shit if I try. I was like, fuck it. I'll go to LA and be a bouncer, and I'm a bouncer. I'm like, I'll go do that out here and be around all this shit and see what the fuck I can do.
Yeah.
And, I moved out here, started working on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was like, I'm not in the movie, but I'm right the fuck here. I talked to Tarantino today. That was cool.
Yeah, you're on the lot.
I told Brad Pitt where the bathroom was. I let Leo use my lighter. I'm like, I can do that. I bounced Andy Dick off a set.
Okay, yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
Basically part of the film.
I'm out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but then I was like, I still want to do all that stuff, but I started doing the stand up, and I really like stand up. So and I'm good at it. So I'm like, if I wasn't good at it, I wouldn't be doing it. But this long. But at least I wanted to try, and I'm happy that I did.
You had some interest in the film making process initially? Yeah. Was there any one film that you were like, that's what inspired you? We're like, I got to make something like that. I got to be a part of something like that. Or was it just something you kind of always enjoyed, the writing and creating process of it all?
Yeah, I've always liked writing. But I think like there's so many movies that like I like and inspired me, I guess, but like I may be Superbad.
Oh, is that right?
Might be Superbad. If
really?
If like I have to pick something that's like I want to do that.
Why Superbad? That's interesting.
I just loved it, man. Like me and my best friend that we wrote the pilot together, like we're like Seth and Evan a lot in that movie, and we saw that together in theaters when we were like 18, like right before, like right when so it was like the same timeline.
Yeah,
I was like, we could do that. We could do something like that.
When you found out like Seth Rogen wrote it, and it was kind of like,
he wrote it with his friend when he was like 13 or whatever. I'm like,
Damn. It was like their little passion project for a decade.
And I'm like, that's like inspiring. That's something that like they did it. We could do that.
Yeah. It's so much like I put myself in that category too. I'd done stand up for a while before I moved here, but I didn't really have a plan. I was like, I'll just go where the stand up is, and I'll just be by proxy around it. I'll go to all the clubs. I'll go to all the mics. I'll just be around it. I have no real discernible anything to offer. But I think if I'm just around it so much and everybody else is doing it, something will present itself.
Yeah.
Now I'm 8 years in. I don't know if anything really presented itself, but that was my plan. I was like, and I think so many people are the same way. They're like, we got to be
around
in the area
and study it and watch it and
meet
learn
some
it
people and just
see,
try and put one foot in front of the other
and see where it goes. And if it goes good, and if it don't, cool. At least you tried.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a fan. You know what I'm saying? And that was like my mentality. And like I said, I got to go see my favorite comedians, like people I like that I've been watching their podcasts and all this shit, see them do it. And I'm like, there were people up there that like, I'm like, I don't know how the fuck people do this, bro. Like, how the fuck can anybody do like shit like that? And then you also see some comics on them shows and you're like, oh, they're doing that. Like, I think I can do this.
I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hold on, I can do better than that.
I can do better. Exactly. I can do better than that.
Yeah.
Like, and if you feel that way, well, do it.
Right. Yeah. Then you know
like,
what I'm
saying?
I got to get up somewhere.
You think that? Cool. Do it.
Right. Right. Now I got to go do it. I want to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, pushed me into doing it. And I'd sit there and I'd go to a couple shows and watch people like that and study and learn and see what they do. And
were you scared at all at first? Yeah. You had the fear of like,
yeah, it's scary.
Here it is.
Yeah, it's scary, but it's super scary. But it's also like, face the fear.
Right. Yeah.
Do it or don't. This is your chance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be one of them people that wondered what if. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something don't work out, cool. At least I tried. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, man, when I was this, I wish I'd have done that. Like if I'd have did that, how maybe some,
Yeah.
I don't want that. So it's like if I want to do something, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
And if it works, dope. And if it don't, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you gotta
something else the thing that where I'm supposed to be, I'll be. The thing I'm supposed to do, I'll be doing. Or I'm on the path to doing. You know what I'm
sounds
saying?
very philosophical, Nate.
Yeah. That's how I look at
like
it.
a Zen approach to it all.
The Bayou Buddha.
When those first couple of years when you came to LA, was that a culture shock coming from the small town into huge LA? Yeah, I'm not from a tiny town, but when I came here, I was like, oh, this town's too big. I don't know how to get anywhere. I moved here when I was 34. So I was like, I'm not like a young guy. I'm not into like hanging out at clubs and stuff. Like making friends was tough. I can't imagine like you came from a small town into a huge town.
Well,
what were your initial impressions?
I guess my thing that I was like low-key lucky for was like, I'm from a very small town. Katrina happened. I moved to a bigger small town. Like I'm from a place with no Walmart. I moved to a place with a Walmart. Then I graduated college there and moved to New Orleans. And I lived in New Orleans for 5 years. So I went like small, medium, large.
Okay.
So I was like...
This felt like a natural progression?
This is extra large.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay. So it's like I can do it. And everywhere I went before, I, put myself out there and did the things that I did and met people and, knew I could go to a new place and it would be okay. So that was kind of like, I'll go try it. And it was definitely a culture shock. It was scary, but it was also like, I moved to Thibodeau and when I was 15 and didn't know anybody not under my own power. This time I moved to LA. I don't know anybody, but this is my choice. And I know I can do it because I did it then.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was
you felt like this will be my next step.
This will be my next step. And if it is, dope. What's the worst? What best case scenario? I go out there, work hard, succeed at what I want to do. Worst case scenario, I go out there, work hard, try, don't succeed, come the fuck back home. At least I can say I tried.
Yeah.
You know?
You had that in your head from the start.
At least I can try. And then I'll go home and be whatever. But like, I'm glad I'm not where I want to be, but I'm damn sure on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It seems like, you came here with a plan in your head. You're like, I've done it before.
And plans have changed, but, they've kind of, swayed and things have, some things have kind of fallen off, some things have kind of increased. And I really like, where I'm at. I'm happy with where I'm at for this amount of time. I've been here for 5 years. And if you'd have told me when I moved out here, hey, bro, in 5 years, you're going to do this, and what? Okay. Yeah, bullshit. I'll take half of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, it ain't easy.
Yeah.
But
it's sometimes it's a hard town to describe to people who don't live here, aren't from there, because you never hear people describe LA as a hardworking town. You know, you're like, oh, Chicago, that's a blue collar town, or you know, LA is a hardworking town because everybody moves here with a purpose, with an ambition. And then it becomes very competitive in that regard. It's a very fast-paced town in that regard where, like, everybody's got a little hustle they got going on. Everyone's got their job, but they also do this. Then they got their part-time job, but they do this on the weekends. It can be really overwhelming at times, too. It's like, this guy does 3 things, and he's got this going, and maybe he's going to do this, or this guy is doing this. It's tricky to figure out early, at least for me, those first couple years, just to figure out how can I get up to speed? How can I have my job? And then how do I make my schedule around
I think we all still
the things I
trying
want
to figure that out.
Maybe we never figure it out.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'm a bouncer, a bartender, a waiter, a fucking PA. I do a lot of shit. So it's like, you know, whereas, you know, I don't have that 9 to 5 consistency.
Right. Yeah. No one seems to have a consistent 9 to 5.
That would be so nice. But like, same time, like, I do shows, I do this, I go out, whatever. Like, I gotta, you know, balance. And it ain't easy, but we do it.
Yeah.
You know, and figure it out along the way.
Yeah. It seems a lot of us that moved to LA a little older, like already had an idea of like what job we were going to work during the day. Like I grew up working in bicycle stores. So it's like, when I move there, great, I'm just going to all the bicycle stores. I'll get a job at one of the stores. And you were the same way. It's like, okay, I've done security before. Yeah. I'm going right to security.
As long as they have nightclubs, I know I can get a job.
Right.
Especially because I was head of security and been doing it since I was 18. I was
right. Me too. I started sort of when I was 17.
So like you got 10 years experience, whatever it is, like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's like, I'll go here, get my job.
That resume is good. I can get me a gig doing, worst case scenario, and get me a gig doing that. Be straight. And that was that. And like working on them TV shows and movies, like I'd work 12-hour shifts. I'd work, 6 to 6, 7 to 7, something like that. I'd work at the studio or on location, and like at the studio, like there's nothing going on because it was like sometimes there was stuff, but sometimes there was nothing. And like in that downtime, I'd read book, I'd listen to podcasts, I'd fucking work on my fucking shit. Like learn, more stuff about writing and listen to podcasts about it and comedy and everything else.
Yeah.
And that was all, getting 2 birds stoned at once.
Yeah.
Like working on my craft while at work making money was like
like you're making good use of your time. And I think maybe you and I are the same. As soon as I sit down, I'm like, okay, what should I be doing right now? Like I've sat around for the last 30 minutes. Like, what should I have been doing? That's kind of how I feel. It seems like you're the same way. Like I can do something while I'm doing something.
I have to be busy doing with what I'm doing. And if I'm bored, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Like I'm never bored except when like I'm at like a security gig and like you can't do anything.
I see.
Like as I it is so strict on everything. Like, you can't be on your phone. Don't be doing this. I'm like,
great.
It's all secure, player. The bums ain't gonna sneak in on me. I'm not taking a nap.
That's right.
I'm playing chess on my phone.
Right.
So that I don't lose my fucking mind.
I'll keep this place secure.
It's
you
all
saw
secure,
what I did
dude.
when I was 15.
It's all secure, player. Yeah. But yeah.
And what's the plan now? Like you're doing stand-up. You run a show too, don't you?
Yeah. Me and Miranda. I don't know if you're Miranda. Me and Miranda run Comic Wars at the Improv.
Yes, yeah. How did you come up with that idea? How did that get up off the ground?
I've been doing roast battle for a while. I started doing that, a few months into stand-up. And then the pandemic happened, and there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, we want to do something. And we're like, well, why don't we just do like a lot of the comics have wanted to, do more stuff. And we're like, maybe we could do a roast show. We'll just do it in the backyard since they ain't got nothing going on. And I asked Moses, and he was like, yeah, that's cool. Y'all could do that. And I always looked at it like it would be like college football and roast battles the NFL. So it's like, this is just a bunch of us in the backyard bullshitting, a bunch of open micers and shit. People that maybe wanted to try roast battle but was like scared or didn't know or whatever. And like we developed a whole new, generation of them, kinda, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
That like would do it in the backyard.
Okay.
And like they'd start doing it the first time, second time, third time, like they're doing it in the backyard. And then everything opened back up, started doing roast battle. We'd have, anywhere from 30 to fucking 70 people in the backyard.
Really?
For roast battle, for just the Comic Wars.
Yeah.
During the pandemic. Because everybody wanted to fucking get out and do something.
Right.
Whatever. And then they pitched it to the Improv, and we started doing it at the Improv. And we've been doing it there for, over a year now, or a year and a half now.
Really?
Yeah, it's been awesome. And we
Yeah.
sell out almost every fucking time. And
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fucking
Yeah, it's
fun.
a great idea. It seems like it fits both you and Miranda's personalities really well,
Yeah,
too.
people
Like,
always say that. They always say
Yeah.
we're such a good team. And
Right.
I agree. She's awesome. She's hilarious.
yeah,
But
she's like out there, the high energy. You're like the level guy, you know, keeping the balance of things. It's a good mesh, it seems. Like it's a good union.
yeah, we have another one on the 22nd, Monday night at the Improv. If
Oh,
you're free,
nice.
Come through, come hang out.
All right.
Comics come out. You don't got to pay nothing. Just come hang out in the back and watch. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever been to one or no?
I went to one. Yeah, I happened to one a while back. I remember one a while back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah,
It's
they are.
wild. Like there's so many versions of stand-up comedy now. Like you can see traditional stand-up, but then you have roast battles and comic wars, and you have the stand-up on the spot show. You have these
Like
these
the bucket shows with like the
bucket
improv
shows.
things, and they're, you know, or like Mike Falzone runs that Surrounded. Like that's a great show too. Like,
Yeah, right.
Stuff.
All these different versions.
flavors. Yeah,
Yeah,
different
and
little
if-
spins and.
Yeah, and if you're an audience member or you're a tourist in LA, it's like let's just see what this comedy is like on here where it all happens. Because you go to clubs on the weekend, say you go to a Funny Bone or an Improv in Dallas, or you see a traditional stand-up show. You know, here you see every version of a stand-up show, and you may see some craziness.
Yeah.
Is the other thing. So it's kind of exciting.
You ever been to Billy Myers show, the Riff Raff? Up in the
No.
he was doing
Myers.
that's a fun.
Oh, yeah,
fucking
Billy Myers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a fun fucking show too.
Really?
Billy runs a great show. Go check that out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely unlike any other.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a good one.
Well, Nate, I finish every interview with the Rotten Tomatoes movie game. However, it's always themed to the guest.
Okay.
You. So this week's theme is movies that take place in the South.
Okay.
Now, the way the game works is I'm going to read you a description, and when you think you know the movie, you yell it out.
Okay.
You can get a point that way, and then we'll put the two movies head to head, and you got to guess which one has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score.
Deal.
So I got a practice one for you. Just two movies that take place in the South. Just see if you can guess which one has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score. And this one has the theme as well. All right. Deliverance versus Forrest Gump.
Okay. I don't know Deliverance, but I know.
Never seen Deliverance?
But I love Forrest Gump.
Okay. Forrest Gump. Right. He was a kick returner for Alabama. Took place in the South. Deliverance is in the deep, somewhere backwoods South.
Don't you call him stupid?
All right. So for practice, which one do you think has the higher Rotten Tomatoes score?
Forrest Gump. Better.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Deliverance, 89%. Forrest Gump, 71%.
What the fuck is Deliverance?
You never seen Deliverance?
No.
John Voight, where they get stuck in the woods. That's where that famous line comes from. That's squeal like a pig.
So
And,
John
Ned-
Voight getting lost in the woods is apparently, according to Rotten Tomatoes, better than Forrest Gump.
Deliverance is a pretty freaky movie, but I am surprised Forrest Gump is this low because Forrest Gump, I would think, would be like a
I
critic's
thought
darling.
that bitch won like awards.
It
and shit.
did. I'm very surprised at this score.
Fuck them tomatoes. All right.
Tomatoes. All right. Well, that's the point of
That's
this
the-
game.
that's the
You
point of
got
the
to
game?
think like a critic.
Okay.
What? That's how the game is
Okay.
played.
Okay.
So
So think like a dumbass.
think
Deal.
like a critic. Right. And that's how you'll do good at this game.
What would a cunt say?
Hey, you know, I'm gonna change the name of this game. All right. Here's your first movie description. Remember, movies that take place in the South.
Copy that.
A mystical being from the 18th century meets another being like him who persuades him to choose immortality over death and become his companion. He decides to break the friendship by adding a young girl to the family, and that brings conflict.
Damn. Interview with a Vampire?
From 1994, the movie is Interview with a Vampire. Where did that come from, Nate? Wow. All right, you're on the board. You got one there. All right, next description. In a time where beer is illegal, a truck driver agrees to smuggle the beer from Texas to Georgia within 28 hours. When he picks up a hitchhiker, he attracts the attention of the sheriff, and they embark on a high-speed chase.
Smokey and the Bandit.
1977, Smokey and the Bandit is right. 2 for 2. All right, here's your first matchup. Interview with the Vampire versus Smokey and the Bandit. When's the last time you saw Smokey and the Bandit?
I was fucking young.
I saw it like a
It's
couple
been a
months
long
ago.
time.
It is a very different movie
Yeah,
than what we're used
it's a
to
long
now.
time.
It makes really no sense. It's just Burt Reynolds driving and like copying a feel on Sally Field throughout the movie.
See, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. But like some of those movies, like you rewatch and you're like, oh man, that's why I loved this movie. I knew I loved this fucking movie. And sometimes you watch them like, I thought this movie was awesome, but it sucks.
Yes.
And it's like there's
some of that. So, 1977, like movies were very different.
Yeah.
In 77 and Burt Reynolds was, I guess, our Brad Pitt of the 70s. He could just do no wrong.
Norm as Burt Reynolds is one of the best.
That would be
shout out Norm.
Interview with the Vampire versus Smokey and the Bandit. What do you think?
Of the tomatoes? Well, if it was me, see, I don't even remember the other one, and I haven't
Interview with the Vampire.
I don't think I've ever even seen Interview with the Vampire.
No?
I'm just aware of it.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like thinking, and I was like,
I didn't see it till way later.
It took me a minute to think, and then I was like, okay, I got it. But I would say the Interview with the Vampire has to have a higher rating.
Okay, go and Interview with the Vampire.
If we're going off of the fucking previous one with Forrest Gump being less than Deliverance, see, I like Forrest Gump way more because I've never even seen Deliverance, and just the description of John Voight in the woods sounds like bullshit. But I get it. Movie. But I get it if they gonna go with the critic. Therefore, Smoking the Bandit, fun, from what I remember, funny comedy. Burt Reynolds. Interview with the Vampire was what Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst and Brad Pitt. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
Okay, you going Interview with the Vampire?
Yeah.
All right, Interview with the Vampire is 63%. Smokey and the Bandit, 72%.
See, I'm wrong.
Wow. Well, you got the two movie descriptions right, so you're on the board.
Okay.
You really thought it out, though. Yeah. Like, you really put
I went with the... See, I shouldn't have done the practice, because then I would have gone with Smokey and the Bandit. Oh, well, fuck it.
All right. Well, I think you know how the game's going to roll now, so. All right, here we go. Second matchup. A secret program brings in an ATF agent to capture a terrorist responsible for a ferry bombing. The agency reveals it has classified technology that allows them to see 4 days into the past. The agent realizes this could allow him to go back in time and prevent the crime. Remember the theme.
Fuck.
You're really thinking this one out.
The time travel shit is what threw me off. I was gonna guess, and I think I definitely am wrong now. It's not time travel.
Held in the South. ATF agent.
Is there another? Yeah. Can you run like?
Let me read it again.
Yeah.
A secret program brings in an ATF agent to capture a terrorist responsible for a ferry bombing.
A ferry bombing, yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of.
The agency reveals it has classified technology that allows them to see 4 days into the past. The agent realizes this could allow him to go back in time and prevent the crime.
I'm fucking stumped.
The movie is from 2006, Deja Vu.
Oh, that's
Denzel.
Okay. Yeah.
I like this movie. This was a Denzel movie that kind of came and went. But
I never saw it, but now.
No?
Yeah, but now I know exactly what it is. Yeah.
Deja Vu. Yeah, they have these like freaky time travel glasses.
See, I was gonna guess when you were saying all that at the beginning. I was like, is it Runaway Jury? But then I was like, no, it's not. They don't have time travel. Okay, Deja Vu. Okay, yeah. Well, Deja
John Cusack goes back in time.
Yeah.
All right, next movie description. Raised by his overprotective mother, a simple man enjoys being The
Waterboy.
The Waterboy, 1998. I think you had to know this was going to be on the list somewhere.
No, but that's my favorite movie, so.
It is your favorite.
A simple man raised by his mother in the bayou, yeah.
You got Sandler, Henry Winkler, Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates just coming in off the top rope in this movie, just like, hey, I'm a phenomenal actress, and I'm gonna be in this movie.
She is the mama. She murders that fucking movie.
That movie was the cause of so many like wrestling matches in my living room with my friends. It's like, hey, let's wrestle like in the Waterboy. Let's jump off the couch and tackle each other.
Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Captain Insano, right. And at some point, my mom comes in pissed off and tells us to take it outside. Like, all right, outside, everybody. Let's go wrestle in the yard instead of the living room. All right, you got that one. All right, so now your movies. Nate, Deja Vu versus The Water Boy.
The Water Boy, and I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong.
The Water
Fuck
Boy, he
Denzel and
doesn't give a fuck.
Fuck Denzel, and fuck Deja Vu. If The Water Boy's less than that, fuck them critics.
Do you want to give the camera the finger again to Denzel? That's
no,
right.
I respect Denzel.
Oh, okay.
That's for Lamar again.
Lamar's catching a lot of strays.
He'll catch every stray.
All right. So what'd you go with? Water Boy?
I'm going with the Water Boy,
and
fuck
fuck
him.
you. Right. Deja Vu was 56%. The Water Boy, 33%.
33% of them people are cool. The other fucking 66% or whatever, fuck them.
Critics
That movie's
are
awesome.
never going to give the Water Boy their flowers. It's going to be so high and mighty.
Fuck them.
Critics. You should see Deja Vu, though. It's a pretty good
I will.
South movie.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. All right. Final round.
All right, bet.
3 points you have so far going into the final matchup.
3 out of 6.
Remember,
All right.
movies from the South. After a workplace shooting, after a workplace shooting, a shady jury consultant for a gun manufacturer uses illegal means to stack the trial in their favor. But when one of the jurors initiates their own plan, the stakes get high in a game of cat and mouse.
Runaway Jury.
2003, the movie is Runaway Jury. You got it. That's an awesome movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I haven't
everybody's
seen
seen
it
that.
in so long, but that was a good movie.
Really good movie. Good Gene Hackman. Good John Cusack.
Cusack, yeah.
Yeah. He's making all these moves in the French Quarter
It's a
too.
John Grisham book, right?
It was Grisham. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Grisham. Yeah. And then there's that scene where the jurors are having lunch in the French Quarter, and they the judge is having lunch in the French Quarter, and the jurors are like, go to the judge, we got crappy food, and the judge's like, come down to the restaurant, and they all have lunch in the restaurant. It makes me want to go to New Orleans.
It's awesome.
I'm like, I gotta go there. I want to have lunch like the jurors.
Yeah.
All right, you nailed that one. Final description. In an investigation into the most infamous presidential assassination in history, a New Orleans district attorney begins to doubt conventional thinking. He faces resistance as he finds evidence of an extensive conspiracy behind the death.
The Manchurian Candidate?
No! The movie is from 1991, JFK.
Oh, fuck.
JFK.
Is that the one with Joe Pesci?
Yeah, Joe
So
Pesci.
I never saw that fucking movie. But my friend was telling me about it recently. My friend was just telling me about that fucking movie. I never saw it.
It's interesting. It's Oliver Stone.
They said that Joe Pesci plays like a gay French.
Joe Pesci's
fucking-
like a gay French guy with a huge wig.
and he was
And
like,
the whole movie, he's just like, the fucking with you. The fucking, like, he's just.
I have to watch it.
He's
I
just
have to
going
watch it.
100 miles an hour, Joe Pesci. Take Joe Pesci from Casino and put him in a gay wig. And that's him in this movie.
That's ridiculous.
And I don't even think.
I was waiting too, by the way. I was waiting for fucking My Cousin Vinny because I love that fucking
I almost
movie.
put that one in
I
there.
love that fucking movie and I was waiting for it. But I was
84
like,
Buick Skylark. Yeah, I thought that one might have been a little too on the nose. Joe Pesci, too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think the Joe Pesci character existed in real life in the JFK world. I think Oliver Stone takes a few liberties in this movie. There's characters he adds in it.
I'm sure.
And I think the movie's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot of movie. And Kevin Costner does a bad Southern accent.
So, yeah.
All right, these are two heavies here.
Okay.
Runaway Jury versus JFK.
Well, I never saw JFK. I'm going to go with Manchurian. I mean, no, fucking Manchurian Candidate. No, I'm going to go
No,
with
Runaway
fucking.
Jury.
I'm going to go with Runaway Jury.
You're going to go Runaway Jury?
Yeah.
All right. Runaway Jury is 73%. JFK, 84%.
So I'm
it's
terrible.
close.
I'm
you
terrible.
Scored 4. You scored 4. I have had someone get no right before.
Yeah.
So you're in the top half for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll take media. You know, sort of fuck. Right there, right on the cusp of the playoffs. I'll take it though.
Well, Nate Welch,
That was fun though. Thank you.
he is at Nasty Nate Bruh on Instagram. He's got a show, Comic Wars. He's a good dude. He's a Saints fan, not a Lamar fan.
No, I used to like Lamar until he stole $300 from me.
Damn it. All right.
Made me get second instead of first.
Man.
Piece of shit.
Thanks, Nate.
Fuck you and your ACL.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you having me, man. Thanks.
Anytime. That's it. That's the episode. That is comedian Nate Welch in studio for a great conversation. That was awesome. I got to thank Nate for coming out and sharing his thoughts on life, his upbringing, the New Orleans Saints as well. Great stuff. I want to remind you, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Every subscriber counts. The channel builds every day, and you're a part of that. I want to thank everyone who listened. Not to mention all my shows are up here on the channel, so go check it out. My stand-up clips, my movie series, not to mention the Sunday Night Talk is currently running because the NFL playoffs are kicking off this weekend as you listen to this. Not to mention, if you want to catch me doing live stand-up comedy, I will be at Flappers Comedy Club January 24th, Wednesday at 7:30, and I will be in Venice Beach, California, February 17th. Come on out, see a show. So, for running it back, for me, Patrick Amirs, and for my guest, Nate Welch, go check him out, everyone. He's great. Thank you for listening, everybody. I will see you next time.